Can a partnership born right here in King County, Washington, have an impact all the way over in the southern part of Tanzania? Well, we're going to find out, and the answer, I'll let you know, is yes. Linda Hines from Songea's Kids and Mark Reeves from Engineers Without Borders. Tonight on Public Exposure, I'm Stan Emmert. Linda, Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I think that the greeting in Swahili is?
Habari jioni.
And I say nzuri.
Nzuri.
So what did we just say?
I said, how are you this evening? And you said, fine, which I hope is true.
It is true. All right, by the way, we wanted to make sure that we get the Songea's Kids website up, songeaskids.org. You're probably going to want to go to that website really soon. First off, a high school student is the one who helped with it, so you know it's really good. And number two, there's some great success stories that are on the website and that are happening right now. Linda, tell us about why you formed the organization Songea's Kids.
Well, I met a woman from Tanzania and had then an opportunity in 2008 to go over to the very remote south of Tanzania, where I found out no one really goes. It's so far off the beaten track, it lacks infrastructure, there are no major aid organizations that go there. And when I went there, I found that the need that had been described to me was very great in terms of the number of children who have been orphaned by AIDS and malaria. Just in the town of Songea, which has 140,000 residents, there are 11,000 orphans, only half of whom are getting any kind of reliable support.
Wow. Mark, Engineers Without Borders, you're a civil engineer, you're a guy who builds things, right?
Right, yes. Yep.
So why are you interested in this?
Well, actually, the architect that is working with Linda's group came to our organization and says, we need some help in the infrastructure of this project. Power, sanitation, water, and efficient cooking stoves. So we partnered with Songea's Kids, and we're there to help them make a really environmentally friendly and economically sufficient organization of as an orphanage.
Okay, and we're going to get to some specifics. By the way, Tanzania, 500,000 plus refugees, more than any other African country, mostly from Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo. For those of you who have been longtime viewers of Public Exposure, we had 2 Burundi refugees who grew up in a Tanzanian refugee camp, probably within the last year and a half. And then there are currently disputes with Malawi over the boundary in the lake that is very close to Songea. But we've got to go to this map. We have to go to the map that shows the long trek from Songea to Dar es Salaam, and that's important, huh?
It is. There's only one 2-lane road that goes there. You fly into Dar es Salaam, then get on a 14-hour bus and go on the only 2-lane road into Songea.
Boy, that sounds really pleasant.
This area is as big as Washington State, and there's only one paved road.
Oh, so it's like I-5.
It's two lanes. It's like 20 feet wide. There's no center stripe.
Really?
And the bus goes about 60 miles an hour down the center of the road because there's people walking and on bicycles on both sides. So when there's another car coming or a bus, the guy honks his horn and everybody moves over to the shoulder. Well, there's no shoulder, but I mean, they're going by these guys at about 2 feet separation. It's wild.
But you're in a nice, really good bus that's something like a Madden bus or something, right?
It's like a used Greyhound bus. There's no air conditioning and there's no...
no toilet.
No toilet.
No air conditioning and no toilet. Okay, 14 hours. That just sounds really pleasant. I sure am glad that you wanted to do stuff like that. Actually, let's show a picture of Songea, and then, how do you pronounce this? Ruvumu?
Ruvuma district, right.
Oh, okay.
That's the southernmost district in Tanzania.
So you picked this area because? Because
it's totally underserved, and because the need is very great, and because so many other organizations won't go there. And
why wouldn't they go there?
Because it doesn't have infrastructure, it's a long ways away, and they don't, except for the very core of the city, which has electricity and running water. The rest of the town, all of the villages around there, have none of those. No electricity, no running water, no sewer, and a great deal of need, and a great desire to do better for their children.
Well, actually, let's go to a couple of pictures from the city because it looks okay. The city itself, I mean, is that the road?
That's the road. That's the downtown Songea.
Downtown area. I mean, it looks kind of nice.
Yeah, it is.
actually. And then the next picture is kind of a market area, and that looks kind of nice too. But
Yep.
you're saying that if you step right outside the city, it's just not that way.
Well, yeah, one paved road. Other than that, it's just dirt road, and it's like going up to the mountains and going on our Forest Service roads, unmaintained.
Now, you guys have done some really good videos, and we have that. Are we ready with the first video? If we can, yeah, okay, let's go to the first video right now.
Oops, that's not.
Water is drawn
that's
from
actually
rivers
not
or
the first
shallow,
video.
hand-dug wells. These wells are similar to those
Yep, that's not
depicted
the
in
first video.
fairy
Let's
tale.
stop that one, and we're going to go to the next one. We're going to go, we'll come back to that one a little later. So, going back to the Songea itself, tell me a little bit more about the overall, when you say infrastructure, is there a government there?
Yes, actually, it's the center of government for the Rovuma district. So the central core has electricity and high-speed internet. But we go out to the village of Mushangano where we're working, which is the poorest village in that area, and it has none of those amenities. We are fortunate in that the partner that we've chosen there, Jirani Mwema, is a very entrepreneurial, eager to learn group, and when we went over last year in October, we took over 4 donated laptop computers and a router and a printer, and we were able to hook it up because they're right next to a government building.
Oh, wow.
And
We've got the right video, so
Okay.
we've been able to hook it up, and so let's go to that one right now.
The remote southern region of Tanzania is one of the poorest areas of East Africa. Impoverished, lacking basic infrastructure, this area has been hard hit by AIDS and malaria. In the Songea region, there are more than 11,000 orphan children, many without support. Mushangano village, on the outskirts of Songea, is one of the poorest villages. This is where Songea's Kids and our Tanzanian nonprofit partner, Jirani Mwema, focuses our efforts. Phil, along with his older brother Theo, lives alone with their mother who has mental problems. They often go hungry because they don't get food at home. They live in a desperate situation. When their mother can't buy or prepare food, the village elders must intervene with help from Songea's Kids. This is Jessica and Maria. They watch their father die. Their mother is ill, unable to take care of them. Their house is falling down around them, and they sleep on the dirt floor wrapped in blankets. Jirani Mwema has built them a new home, provided a bed and mattress for them to sleep on, with money provided from the general fund donations to Songea's Kids. Together, Songea's Kids and Jirani Mwema have 2 goals. The first is to meet the daily and educational needs of the 62 orphans assigned to us by Songea Child Welfare. Our goal is to find sponsors for these children. Our second goal is to build Hope Village in Mushangano. It includes duplexes to house 160 orphans. Additionally, there will be a health clinic, nursery, preschool, and vocational training school. Currently, none of these facilities exist in Mushangano. Thanks to a grant from Living Water, a well was drilled to provide clean water for the site and Mushangano Village. This well was the first step of Hope Village Phase 1 construction.
Okay, Tanzania is one of the poorest countries on the planet. The average income is $1,500 per year. But if you're talking about one of the poorest villages in Tanzania, you're talking about extreme
About
poverty.
$500 a year in
Wow.
income. It's subsistence farming with no machinery. 70% of the people depend on agriculture to get some income. Some of the families that we work with, they don't even have land that they can farm right by their little shambas by where they live.
Shambas?
Shamba. A shamba is a small farm plot.
Oh.
And often they will, if they can find a plot, they'll walk out into the countryside and till it by hand because there's no machinery, carry the water in buckets, and that becomes, mostly they will raise maize because that's the core food to fill them up. Dry it and pound it and mix it with hot water.
And the civil engineers are coming to the rescue because you guys are helping them do their own building, right?
Right. But the first thing is to find enough water for the orphanage. You want 160 children, so we need about 20 gallons a day per person, so we need to find a source of water and enough water. So first goal is to drill a well. And my experts say you really don't know how much water you're going to get until you actually drill it. So
all right, well, we're actually going to be talking about the well in greater depth later. But I wanted to go back to this Geranium
Wema, which means good neighbor in Kiswahili.
And that's an organization there.
That's a nonprofit organization, an NGO. And they asked the child welfare people to assign to them the most vulnerable children, the ones in greatest need in the poorest village.
Now, are they from the United States?
No, they are a local nonprofit organization, all African run, and very focused on and committed to the welfare of these children. And so they were doing what they could until we came on in partnership with them. And now our goal is to provide full basic necessities for all of the children: food, medical care, hygiene supplies, clothing, shelter, emergency repair to shelters where they live, as well as education. Now you have to remember, in Tanzania, school is not free. There's tuition charged, and for people who earn so little, the chances for education are slight. And this year, for the first time, thanks to donors from the U.S., all of the children are in school.
Wow, that's a big deal, because well, we're going to go to a break, and then when we come back, we'll talk more about the education. We're very fortunate to have with us tonight a partnership. Linda Hines and Mark Reeves. Linda is from Songea's Kids, and Mark Reeves is from Engineers Without Borders, and together their organizations are working with another organization in Tanzania to help bring about some life-changing circumstances for some children in the southern part of Tanzania. There is a benefit for the Hope Village that we're going to be talking about. It is Monday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Island Soul Restaurant at 4869 Rainer Avenue South. Go to the website, songeaskids.org, and sign up and learn an awful lot more. And yes, there is a charge for it, but you're going to really kind of like the charge. Okay. The education part. You were a teacher, so it's kind of important to you.
It's extremely important to me, and even more, it's very important to the people there. It's interesting when we talk to them about their priorities, because what we do is go and listen to the people and say, what is it that you most need? What's your vision for what your children? And for example, when we started talking about building Hope Village, we were originally going to build only the housing for 160 of the most vulnerable children who are falling through the cracks and dying in the home care system, and their caregivers. And when I went back this last time, I went and spent time with the villagers and the municipal officials and the Ruvuma officials, and they all said to me, please, won't you consider doing something to help all of our children? We have no health clinic, we have no pre-primary school, we have no vocational school. Remember, maybe 5% of the kids ever can pass exams to go on to secondary school. And kids who don't have pre-primary school don't even do well in primary school. So we said, well, this is a big job. We will have to do it in phases. What would you choose first? They said some homes for the children and a school, even ahead of a health clinic.
Wow. So
we need a school for our children so they have a future.
Wow. So, Mark, you as an engineer, you go over there and you see the situation and you're saying, well, you know, we need to build this, 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 and this, and then all of a sudden there's a school that's thrown in on you. What do?
Well,
you build a school, don't you?
We do what Songea's Kids want us to do, yeah. And it's actually in an earthquake zone, so we're going to structurally build that thing so it can withstand earthquakes, which is...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's right on the edge of the Great Rift Valley, and they do have earthquakes there, and we'll be sure that those schools are going to stand up.
So something else. Are we ready for the second video? Because this is about bicycles. And you know, and to me, I think that, you know, bicycles, I've got a bicycle. We all have bicycles, but it's pretty important over there. Let's go to the video right now.
Wana uhakika kwamba mtasoma kwa nguvu zote, mtawahi kufika shuleni na mtajitahidi. Kwa hiyo ina maana matokeo yatakayokuja yabadilike.
Your education is very, very important to you These are the people in the United States who have provided the money for your bicycles.
How many bicycles?
8.
8 bicycles, so that's a start.
Yep.
And do they, I guess they share them.
Well, no, they don't. We asked Geranium Wema which of these children are most in need of a bicycle, because the ones who get them are the ones who have qualified to go into secondary school, but it's very far away. And they have to walk so long, they come late to school, they fall behind in their studies. And so they said, please, please, can you give us a way for these children to get to school on time? So they thought very carefully about the children who most needed them, and then they bought really sturdy bicycles.
Where'd they get them from?
Right there, locally. We buy everything locally. We don't ship things in. We want to support the local economy. And the roads are just, you know, really, really, really awful. But these kids are now getting to school on time, and their grades are coming up, and they have a chance to maybe pass their exams for secondary school.
Oh, and make a future for themselves down the road. Fantastic. What is a 3-stone fire?
3-stone fire is a typical cooking method in that area. Basically, it's our campfire. And when I went in to take a picture of that, I went in, and the smoke at the top of the room was so bad.
Oh, this is inside a house?
Yeah, that's the other thing. They cook inside the house.
With open?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess if you're hungry and that's what you got, that's what you do.
Well,
in the rainy season, you can't cook outside.
Oh, yeah, you can't cook outside.
So.
Okay, we're getting, Mark, I'm going to ask you to do a favor, because we're going to show a picture of a new rocket stove. And while we're showing this picture of a new rocket stove, I would like for you to kind of bend over and let's see what we can do with the one there. Because what is a new rocket stove, Mark?
Well, a rocket stove is a efficient cooking stove that uses wood or charcoal. This one uses wood. And it was designed by a physicist down in Oregon about 30 years ago. And it uses 50% less wood. And it has an L-shaped fire chamber, and it has insulated bricks on it, so all the heat from the fire gets to the pot.
Yeah. And that particular one there is not one that's necessarily going to be used because it wasn't made right there in Tanzania, right?
Right.
And I think I overheard you saying that it gets really hot so it can cook things really quickly?
Yeah, the fire burns at over 900 degrees, so almost all the smoke is consumed, so it burns smokeless. So there's less eye infection and respiratory infection. And what the women really like, it takes half the time to cook.
Oh, it takes half the time to cook. What was that other thing that you had? Like a piece of rock?
Okay, this is the lining of the stove. And it's like pumice, pretty lightweight.
Yeah, so yeah, I see it is. It's very lightweight.
Yeah.
It's like, man, my daughter and I would have a good time throwing that thing back and forth.
Yeah, so that keeps all the heat inside the stove and up into the pot.
Okay, now whenever I look at metal and I look at something that has been designed and engineered, I'm thinking, wow, that might be too expensive. Can the people of Tanzania who make $500 a year afford that?
That's the big issue. And that's the issue that the rocket stove makers worldwide are trying to do, is make a stove that's affordable, and it really hasn't been done yet. So we come and we will buy the stove, and hopefully it'll last about 10 years. And the thing is, the stove has a payback period of less than a year. These people would spend a couple $100 a year on wood, but the stove we buy in Tanzania only costs $100.
Wow. We're going to take another very short break. We're very fortunate to have with us Linda Hines, who is the founder of Songea's Kids, and Mark Reeves, who is with Engineers Without Borders. And together, they have partnered with groups in the southern part of Tanzania to help build dreams. And you can help build their dreams too by attending a benefit for the Hope Village, which is Monday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Island Soul Restaurant here in Seattle. And I encourage you to go to songeaskids.org to learn more about it. So from the engineer's standpoint, Engineers Without Borders, we're going to get that website up too. Great. Is this a fun project for you guys?
It is totally fun. I mean, we have experts in all the fields, structural, mechanical, and we have landscape architects that are going to do the agricultural aspect of it. We're going to have self-sufficient farming. They're going to grow all their own food.
Now, are you going over there and telling them what to do?
no. They're going to tell us what they would like us to do for them. And so that's the big thing, is that both Linda's group and my group want to go and help the people on what they want. So we need to go there and talk with them quite a bit.
So this is a question for you both, because this is a big deal. You go and do your work and then you go away. Are they going to be able to sustain it?
Absolutely.
How
I mean,
so?
that's critical, because the engineers actually sign a 5-year contract with us, and they say, we will not leave until everyone there knows how to maintain what's left behind, they will know what the part stream is to get replacement parts. And the other thing that's critical to what we're doing is that we want to have that whole project self-sustaining. Our goal is to create a model that other villages can imitate, so that the home-based care for these children will be self-sustaining, and the residential care for the children and the facilities will be self-sustaining. So we're putting together a sustainability council that's helping us with this. And to show you the enthusiasm of our partner, after we signed a contract with them, we said, you know, one of the first things you'll need to do is find land to grow crops and animals to feed these children and produce income. Within 3 months, they got back to me and said, we took up a collection in a very poor part of the world. And we have bought 100 acres in Wanamungo, and we can do this. And we have an option on another 100 acres. I mean, that's the kind of enthusiasm we hear. And then through the agricultural initiative of the Gates Foundation, we learned that there is a sweet potato they've developed that will address vitamin A deficiency, which affects 69% of the children under 5 and pregnant women. And sweet potatoes grow very well in Tanzania. And they put us in touch with the Kabaha Research Center. The Geranium Waymo went and said, could we have some experimental plants, and can we plant them? And we can share them with all of the people here. And so that's part of the self-sustaining aspect of what we're doing. Everything should be able to sustain itself by the year 2022 when we leave.
Wow. Nothing can sustain itself without water. Are we ready for the water video? All right, so let's go to there's water in Songea right now.
Water is drawn from rivers or shallow, hand-dug wells. These wells are similar to those depicted in fairy tales and history books, the kind that are large diameter, brick-lined, and water is retrieved using a bucket lowered into the well. Except that these Songean wells are not lined with brick. In fact, there is no casing to protect the well from surface activity. And by using a bucket to retrieve water, it is difficult, if not impossible, to obtain clean water. Songea's kids received a grant from Living Water to replace this unusable well. Gerani Mwema invited me, Russ Pryor, as a representative of Engineers Without Borders, to travel to Songea and work with local people to construct a replacement well. Before I arrived, the location of the well was chosen by Filippo Kaduma, a Tanzanian hydrogeologist. The hope was to obtain 800 liters per hour. The first step was to set up the tripod which supports the mechanism used to raise and lower the solid stem auger. Here is the drilling team spudding in, the term used by well drillers when they first start drilling. The drillers simply lower the auger into the hole, turn it until it's full of dirt, then pull it out of the hole and clean it by hand. Here's Samson cleaning the auger. The process is repeated as the hole is drilled deeper. Drilling proceeded at a rapid pace. The first 8 meters were drilled in 1 day. Water was encountered at 7 meters deep, and drilling continued below the water table just as before. In 3 days, they reached a depth of 16 meters. The bottom of the hole began to cave in, but the well needed to be advanced past this zone because this caving layer will add significantly to the well's yield. In order to get past this layer, temporary steel casing was placed into the hole.
We've got to get to the Hope Village project and the architect, and how much time do we have left? a minute, so we got to get to that. It went fast.
Yes. Well, Sundberg Architectural Initiatives has designed all of the facilities, the duplexes, home-like for the children, and they are on the process of designing the other facilities now. And again, they're making stronger, better bricks, but ones that can be made locally. So we employ local people, we build up the local economy. And their housing designs are really going to be an excellent model. They fit into the village pattern, but they're stronger, better than what's there, and will help raise the level of construction there. So we've been really fortunate to have great partners, all of them doing this pro bono for us, and for the people of Songea, who are very anxious to learn and be independent.
So Mark, do you feel like you're working for free?
This is better than free. This is the best thing I've done in my whole life. It's great.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. The Hope Village itself, so there's going to be residences for how many kids?
160 of most vulnerable orphans and their caregivers, a pre-primary school, and they've asked for a computer room for that. It will all be solar powered. A vocational school for the many children who can't go on to secondary school. So it's going to be life-changing for the people of Mshangano.
Wow.
And
fantastic.
Hopefully we can get sponsors for the rest of our 62 kids. There are 23 who still don't have sponsors.
Mark Reeves, Engineers Without Borders, Linda Hines, Songea's Kids, thank you both very much, and thank you very much for what you're doing. Okay, so now it's our turn. The benefit for the Hope Village is Monday, May 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Island Soul Restaurant. Go to the website, Songea's Kids, and you're going to learn an awful lot more. You're going to learn about how to participate in the benefit for the Hope Village. And we'll see you next week right here on Public Exposure. Take care.
Thank you.